When you make more sales and you don't keep records of your business transactions, you might even be losing the money that you're making in sales without knowing it. So today, I won't just be teaching you how to keep records. I hope that after this class, um, we would start keeping records of our business transactions. Now, I'm going to be teaching, or let me say, I'm going to be talking about what record keeping is, how to keep proper records of your business transactions, which is why you are here today, why record keeping is important, and ways that we can keep records, the various ways we can keep records of our business transactions. Now, as fashion designers, I'll be tilting more and using more my examples, using fashion designers as my example, so we can relate to whatever it is I'm going to be explaining. What is record keeping? Record keeping generally is to to keep records of activities that happens around us, to keep memories. When we take photo shoots of our children, or by a year, 2 years old, we are keeping record, we are keeping memories. So we keep record keeping deals with, it's involved in our everyday life. We keep records every day. Now, but in this context, we are talking about business. We are keeping records of our business transaction. Every details, as money is coming in, as money is going out, we are keeping records of them. So that's what record keeping basically means. Now, why is it important? I want to Why is it important? Why should we keep records of our businesses? The first reason is to make proper decision making, to make good, concise, intentional decision making for our business. Now, let's say we make sales. We got clients in a month. We sell clothes for them. They pay us. We buy materials. We do this. But at the end of the month, can you can you actually know the actual amount that came in? Like, if someone asks you, how much did you make in sales this month? Can you say it? How much did you make in expenses? How much did you spend? So some people might think they are making money. Oh, I collected 15K from the client. I collected 20K from the client. I collected 10K from the client, without knowing that they are not making profit, because there are some other aspects of the business that you might not be putting into consideration. But if you are keeping records, you know that you bought machine. Okay, at the beginning of the month, you recorded that you paid rent. At the beginning of the month, you recorded that you paid salaries. At the beginning of the month, you recorded that you bought some machineries, you bought scissors, you bought some things that you're not even counting out how much is at least. I'm not going to buy another one for the next 3 months. But after making this record, if at the end of the month you go through these records, you know if you actually made profit or not. You might be thinking I'm making profit, but the numbers will tell you, like they say, the numbers don't lie. Your numbers will tell you if you're actually making profit or not. So it will help you make good decision whether to cut down your expenses. Oh, I made too much expenses this month. Next month I must not make these mistakes. Oh, this month I made so much sales, but I can't find my money. Where did the money go to? If you have kept records, you would know where your business money is. You would know where you spent the money, how it all happened. Now let's take for example your children. Sorry, you go to school. Sorry. Okay. Let's take, for example, you send your children to school, and at the end of the term, they do not give you any record. They don't come up with any report sheet. How would you feel? Would that be would you feel encouraged to still take your child to such school? No, it's going to be a big no. You want a school that keeps records of your child's educational progress, so you know what decision to take, whether to get an extra lesson teacher for the child or not. So same thing applies to our business too. Another reason why you want to keep records is for investment purposes, for investors. If you are into ready to wear, for example, and you find people that wants to invest in your business. There was a time Jadok mentioned a particular very big fashion designer. I think the owner of Rough and Tumble. And when I actually watched that video, and she mentioned that at a point she needed money to to expand the business. She had to go to banks to get loans. See, if she did not have a good record, if she had not go to the bank to tell them that for the past 2 years I've been making so amount of money steady every month, or for the past 2 years I'll be able to sell so pieces of clothes every month, the bank would not have considered giving her a loan. So there are so many opportunities that we find online where people are ready to invest in your business. These are the kind of things they would ask you. Just imagine if you come forward with your books, telling them that for the past 5 years that I've been in business, this is what these are the things that I have earned. These are the expenses that I've made. These are the shortcomings. Okay, this is the reason why I need more money. So keeping records is just as crucial as making sales. As you are making sales, you should also keep records. And record keeping should start right from the inception of the business. Before you even make your first sale, as you are renting shop, you are keeping records of all this money that you are spending. As you are buying table, as you are buying scissors, as you are buying them, okay, I want to start this business. You are buying your first sewing machine. You should keep records. So by the time you start making sales, you know that your first sale, you have not started to make profit though, because you know that the money that you used to buy sewing machine, you have not gotten it back. The money that you used to buy table, you have not gotten it back. So record keeping is very, very important. Now, how do we keep proper records? How do we keep proper records? There are six elements, six important elements that almost every business is, aside from fashion business, that that is six elements that are important to keep records of. So these elements, the first one is sales, the second one is expenses, purchases, production, inventory, and cash. Sales, expenses, purchases, production, inventory, and cash. These six elements are important, and they cut across various businesses. Now, what you're just going to do is look into these six elements. Look into the six of them: sales, expenses, purchases, production, inventory, and cash. Which of these six elements um, fits into your business? It's not all businesses that does production. It's not all businesses that has inventory. So which part of these elements fits into your business? Now, when we look at the fashion industry, whether you are into ready to wear or you are into bespoke, you would make sales, right? You make expenses, you buy materials, you make purchases, whether you buy machineries. That's the difference. There's difference between expenses and purchases. Expenses is when you are spending money, but when you make purchases, you're also spending money, but it is not a recurring expense. Now, for those that are into ready to wear, they don't produce. I mean, into bespoke, you don't produce. But those that are into ready to wear, production will also be part of the areas that they are going to be keeping record of. And then inventory will also work for those into ready to wear. And then cash. Cash will be for both ready to wear and bespoke. Now, how do we keep records of our sales? How do we keep records of our sales? There are two ways to keep records of sales. But first, we need to note that, okay, what is sales? Sales is the sales means that your business has sold something. Like a customer is coming to get something for you, and you are exchanging it with money. Now, that is what sales refers to. Sales is different from payments. Now, you can make a sales without receiving payments yet, and it happens to bespoke designers very well.
Hello everyone. I don't know. Is that from my hand?
Yeah, I'm back. I'm back. Sorry.
Okay. Because I realized your even your video paused at some point. Okay. You can go on, ma.
Yeah, I had a call. Sorry, I'm not government.
No problem, ma. Please go on.
And someone remind me, where did I stop? So I was talking
Yeah,
about what? I was talking about sales. Yeah. Yeah. So I said sales are the products that you or services that you exchange for something. Now, sales, there are some things to keep notes when recording your sales. Sales reduces your inventory. It results in debtors, and it can also um, inventory can also be returned by customers. So let me talk about bespoke fashion designers. Can you guys hear me? Hello.
yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
You can hear you. You can hear you, ma. Please go on.
Okay. So,
Mama, name me welcome.
like I was saying, sales reduces inventory. Sales reduces inventory, and it also results in debtors. Now, for bespoke designers, sales can result in debtors. I usually advise bespoke designers to use a software to keep record of their business transactions, and that's because a software would help you send in invoice to your customers as once you guys have sealed the deal, you can send an invoice to your customers, and then it will help you track whatever amount the customer has paid and how much is left for the customer to pay. But the reason most people don't use software is because it is expensive. I'm going to explain this better in various ways you can keep your records. Now, there are two main aspects of recording your sales. When you are keeping records of your sales, you need to first have a detailed sales transaction, and also a daily or monthly sales transaction. No, okay. Now we want to keep records of a sale. For the detailed sales transaction, the first thing you keep record of is the date. Okay, today's date, on the 15th of May 2022, I made a sale. What kind of sale is it? I made a dress for a customer. At what price? At this price. Now, how much has the customer paid? I'm assuming now that you are writing it down, right? So, how much is the customer pay, and how much is left for the customer to balance? These are things that I feel is very important for a bespoke fashion designer. The date the transaction occurred, the details of the transaction, like what kind of products did the customer buy from you? Is it skirt and blouse? Is it gown? Is it corset? Is it whatever it is? If possible, you would need the name of the customer and also the contact details of your customer too, in case you want to pass any information to that customer. And you also need to keep records of what the price, the amounts the customer has paid, and then the balance. Now, in your detailed, the monthly, that's for the detailed sales transaction. Now, you need to now keep another one separately for the monthly. It's like a summary of a monthly sales transaction. Now, in that monthly sales transaction, you are going to have each month, January, February, March, April, May till December. How much did you make in May? In January, you write it. How much expenses did you make in January? You write it, and so on. So that was going to give you an overview look of. You can even have a chart showing you the months that you had the highest sales, the month you had the highest expenses. Now, going back to my to when I talked about reasons why you should keep records of your business transactions. By the time you have these details, like the summary of your transactions, your monthly transactions, you can see which months you made the most sales. Now, you're going to go back to see, what did I do in this month that made me make more money? What did I do differently? What are the marketing strategies that I put in place in this month that made me have more customers? Did I get more referrals? Was it by word of mouth? Was it by putting my business on Instagram? Was it by using Google My Business? You know, there are various ways to get more customers for our business as a fashion designer. Now, what did I do differently this month? So if you keep on using that strategy, some people Instagram don't work for them. Google My Business. I live in Alta here, and since I put my fashion business on Google My Business, in a month I get at least, by the time I Google brings my result and it will be telling me that I had 500 and killing people asking for directions to my shop, and I'm not on Instagram for my fashion business. I'm not on Instagram. So you would know where to tilt your marketing strategy to. If you have not kept record, you would not have even known. You just okay, yes, I used to make money, but you know that okay, in this particular month, I made so amount of money compared to other months. Oh wow, what did I do differently this month? Do you understand? I don't know if we can interact.
Yes,
So it will look
please.
like I'm
We
just
can hear
talking
you.
to myself alone. Can you guys hear?
Yes, we can
Yes,
hear
I
you.
can hear you and I'm following you.
Okay. So
I'm following
you
too.
know what you did differently. Okay. Okay. Thank you. So you will know what you did differently for that month. So in your detailed reports, like I said, you want to keep records of all your monthly details. Now, what you are going to do for me, in keeping records of your sales transactions, you will get after this class, you sit down and think of the importance, because every business owners are different. The way we want our records to look are different. But the most important thing is to capture the important information, which is maybe like the price, the description. You have to be very, very detailed when you're writing your description. So you sit down and think, okay, in my sales, like the way I make sales in my shop, what are the things that are crucial that I want to write down? Like I mentioned before, the date is very, very important. The the name of the customer, what the customer bought, the quantity. If you are into ready to wear, you want to write the dates, the name of the customer, the name of the product. I'm sure most of us used to give our products name, like Jennifer's dress, Sade's gown, shift dress, and the likes. So you want to write the name of the products, the quantity that was bought, the price per product. If you are it's ready to wear, you want to write price per product, and then you are going to write the quantity that was bought. So, okay, if one price is 2,000 naira and the customer bought two of that product, then you are going to write the total amount. So you know that you collected 2,000 naira from that customer. So if that customer bought another product, let me say another kind of clothes or that same dress in another color, you are going to record it separately. Don't module everything up together. Record them separately. Now, let's talk about expenses. Expenses. Okay, before I move on to expenses, the next thing I want to talk about under sales is cash. Now, we receive cash, right? When customers, especially when if you're into bespoke, ready to wear, most of them collect
Yes.
their payments online. Okay. So, but those that are into bespoke and you collect cash, now, the first thing you want to do is at the beginning of each day, try to bank the cash for the previous day. Can you hear me? Try
Yes,
to
we can
bank
hear
the
you.
cash for the previous day. This would avoid you spending your business money or using your business money for personal expenses. So try to bank the cash for the previous day on that day. I mean, like for example, now all the cash sales you made on Monday, on Tuesday morning, make sure you bank them. Now when you're okay, good. Make sure you bank them. Now another thing for another record you want to keep under sales, under your daily sales, is whether the payment method. You also write a column for payment method, whether it was paid by cash or it was paid by transfer because bespoke designers also receive transfer. Now you have to state it whether the money was credited by cash or by transfer. Because the reason for all of these things, all of us want our businesses to grow, right? So when your business grows to some particular extent, especially when you start to employ stylists to work for you, then as the business owner, you are sitting back to the only you're no more sewing. The only thing you are doing is looking for ways to get more and more customers. Now you might want your business might grow to the extent that you might want to employ an accountant to look into your business numbers. If you have not been keeping proper records from the beginning of your business, it's going to be an headache for your accountant. And no matter how hard you try, you're not going to be able to put together a decent looking book. Maybe you have an investor that wants to invest in your business and they ask you to bring your books on record. What most people do is they quickly get an accountant to help them put together something. But it's always work, like hard work for the accountant to put together anything reasonable for you. Now, another thing you want to make note of under making sales is debtors. Now, how do you keep record of your debtors? You keep record of debtors by having a personal ledger for each of your debtors. Yes, even if you have 1 million customers, you have to have one ledger for one customer. You write the name of the customer at the top like this: Mr. Daniel. Mr. Daniel's ledger for the month of March 2021 or 2022, or for the month of May 2022. Now, you're going to write the date. On the 1st of May 2022, the opening balance, how much was Mr. Daniel owing me last month? So at the end of last month, which should be the closing balance and the opening balance for May. Mr. Daniel was owing me 200k. You write it like that. Now, this is how the column will be. Sorry. This is how the column will be: date, reference number. That is if you use an invoice, we need a reference number. There's sales, payment, and balance. Now, under the sales, you are going to write the total amount that Mr. Daniel has bought from you, whether it is ready to wear or bespoke. So for bespoke, you assume that sales equates to e-sewing from you, right? So the amount that he has bought from you from that month, now the amount he has paid you in that month, and then the balance that he is owing you. Now you're going to that will be for the heading. After his name, you write date. Like I said, you write reference number if you have been using an invoice. You write sales, you write payments, and then you write balance. So under the date, you write the date the date you are recording the transaction, and then you put under the invoice. If you have been using an invoice, you write the invoice number, and under sales, you write the amount he bought from you on that day. Under payment, you write the amount he paid to you. If he bought goods of 100k now and he paid to you 80,000 naira, then under the balance you write 20,000 naira. Now, after you have kept a personal ledger for each of all of these customers, the next thing you want to do is to have a summary of all your debtors. Now, in this summary, the format is going to be the month or the customer's name. Now, the customer's name, the balance, the amount that you sold to that customer, and the amount that you have paid. The opening balance, the amount you sold, the amount you paid, and then the closing balance. Under the summary, you write the name of your customer. You write the opening balance. That as at the summary now is going to give you the end of the month report. Under the opening balance, you write the amount at that beginning of that May, the amount the customer was owing you at the beginning of that month. You write it. Then the sales, the total amount of goods the customer bought from you in that month. You write it. The total amount that he paid to you in that month, you write it. And then the balance that is still owing you, you write it. So you are going to write each customer, you write their name. Before, you are keeping separate ledgers for each of them. Now, in one summary, you are going to write all their names. You are going to write their opening balances for that month. You are going to write the total amount they bought for me for that month. You are going to write the total amount they paid you in that month, and then you are going to write their balance for the coming month. So that closing balance will be the opening balance for the following month. Let's say the month of June. Whatever the amount they were owing you last will be the opening balance for the month of June. That is if you have debtors and you want to keep records of your debtors. Now, let's move to expenses. So expenses refers to the money that you spend in your business. So you can either pay expenses in cash, or you pay them from bank, or you have not yet paid. Now, the mistake most small business owners make is thinking that expenses should only be recorded when it is paid. No, it is not when you have paid that expenses that you should record this. Expenses should actually be recorded when they are incurred. That is, immediately you have incurred that expenses, you make sure that you record them. It's not after you have paid them. Though not some, after immediately you make that expenses, you have paid immediately. But if it is something that you have incurred in the past and you have not paid for, it does not mean that you should not record it. Now, if it, for example, now your sewing machine is faulty, and then you called a repairer to come and help you look into it. Now, after repairing the machine, you tell him, hey, come next week, don't worry, I'm going to pay you next week, come back next week. That expenses should be recorded on that day, not next week after you have paid. On that same day, you write it that you've made a so amount of expense. Now, you can either pay for, like I said before, you can either pay for expenses from cash or by bank. Now, if you're paying from cash, you can either be cash from your sales, it can either be cash withdrawn from the bank, or it can be from your own personal money. And if you're paying from card, from bank, you can use a card, you can do by transfer, issue of check. So it is best to record your expenses according to how they are paid or incurred, so that it's easy for your accountants to make debit and credit entries. Like, I don't want to go deep into all these terms, but so the cocoa now, what I'm trying to let you know now is that when you are recording your expenses, after you have recorded them, immediately after they were incurred, and you should also record how they were paid, whether you paid it by cash or whether you paid it from the bank. Sorry, my battery is low. I want to plug my phone in.
All right. I hope we are following everyone.
Please
And I want to
give me a minute.
I cannot hear her anymore.
Same here, actually. We can't hear you now.
It's still the same. I cannot hear anything.
Now, I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yes.
So, an example of of a cash expense report is, okay, now you want to keep records of your expenses. You draw your column cash expenses for the month of May 2022. Now you write the date the expenses was incurred. Please keep your record separately. Keep your sales record separately from your expenses. I've seen some people keep records of both their sales, expenses, everything in one sheet. No, if possible, if you can get different notebooks, like 3 to 4 notebooks, depending on the records that you want to keep. So keep records of your sales separately from your expenses. Now you write the date you want to incur the expenses. You write the description, the category. There are different expense category. It could be repairs and maintenance, like the one I mentioned earlier is repairs and maintenance. There is cleaning and sanitation. There is entertainment. There is uniform. There is bank charges. There is internet. There is telephone. So there are so many expense categories. There's salaries and wages. So there's salaries and wages, there's transportation, there's water, there's electricity, there's security, rent. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we
Okay, I
can
think
hear
it's my
you.
charger then. I think
Just
it's my
like
charger. The other time I was charging my phone. Can you hear me now?
yes, yes.
How about now? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, please just give me a minute.
Okay, good. Now, please, are you guys understanding? Am I communicating?
Yes, yes.
You
Keep
guys
separate
are
books.
understanding what I've been saying.
Yes. I hope
Yes,
other
but please,
people are
can you
following.
Can you understand what I've been saying? What I've been saying from the beginning?
yes, I get. Well, please, can you come again with how you said we should keep expenses record?
Hello,
Yes, we can hear you.
hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, ma.
Yes.
Hello, hello.
Wow.
Hello.
It seems
Hello, I
there's a
can
bit.
hear you from my
We
end.
can hear you actually.
Am I the only one here?
No, you're not. We can hear you.
No, I guess she cannot hear us.
Oh.
She cannot hear us.
Okay, I think what's the problem? Can you hear any of us, please? Okay, she can hear us.
I cannot even hear any.
I was trying to read that link. We can hear.
Hello.
Oh.
We can.
Jadok Designs.
Yes, we can hear
Okay,
you now.
Jadok Designs.
Yes, we can hear you
What
now.
happened? What happened?
We are here. We are here.
Okay. Okay,
You
like
can
I
go
was
on
saying,
actually.
I
We are following you.
said
Yes.
um um you keep the date, the description, the category, and then the cash that went out, the amount of money. Are you guys on? You can understand what I've been saying. Okay, okay, thank you. So the date, can I what? Someone was saying so.
You can go on, ma.
Okay, yes, I said that. Okay, good. I said when you want to keep records of your expenses, right? Now you should keep record. You should write the date of the expenses, the description, the category, and then the amount. So under the date, obviously, right, the date, what's happening?
We can hear you, ma.
Okay.
Yes, ma.
Okay, like I said, I can hear you. I can hear you well. Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you, Jadok. I
Yes,
can
please go
hear one
on.
other person. Yes,
We
I
can
can.
hear you. Please go on.
I can hear you.
I think our network is faulty because I can only, as she's talking, I can only read her lips. I can't hear anything. Just like somebody
Hear me.
forwarding and backwarding the stuff. Yeah, I can hear you, Jado.
I think it's breaking or something.
Okay, okay. We can hear you now. Oh, I can hear you actually.
Should I continue?
Yes, yes. Please
Yes,
go
Okay.
on. Tammy, can you hear her now?
Okay, so I said when
yes,
you're keeping
yes, I can.
records of your expenses, you write the date of the date you incur the expense, the description of the expenses. Did you pay for internet subscription? Did you buy a new table? Did you buy a new did you repair anything? Did you buy stuff for your staffs like staff welfare? Did you buy fuel for your generator? Did you pay salary? So you give a detailed explanation of what happened, and then you state the category of that expenses. Okay, and then you give a right category of that expenses, and then you write the amount of the expense. Now in the last column, so the column is date, description, category, amount, and then the payment type. So in the last column you write whether you paid from the bank or you paid by cash. Now, if you are paying by bank, some people use more than one bank account. So you can just use like an abbreviation to show the bank that you paid from. Maybe GT, you can just use G and T for GT or A and C for Access Bank. So yeah, I've been speaking. So you know which bank that you are paying from, or which bank that you paid from, or whether you paid by cash. So for expenses, date, description, category, amount, and whether you paid by cash or by bank, payment method. And when you are paying, if you have more than one bank, you can use the abbreviation of the bank. Yeah, I'm talking.
Okay, ma.
So you can use the abbreviation of the bank, maybe like I said, AB, GT, AC, ZE for Zenith. Really? Okay, you can hear me now well. Okay. So now, okay. Now another report you want to keep under your expenses is the unpaid expenses, the ones that you have not paid for. So you might be wondering if cash expenses are recorded in the cash expense reports. So where will you record your expenses that you have not paid for? So how will you record the expenses that you have not paid for? You should have another report entirely for your unpaid expenses. So this is how you write it. You write unpaid expenses for the month of August, or me for the month of May 2022 as the heading, whatever the month is. Like I said, you keep record for each month separately. Now you write the dates, you write the person that you are owing. You can put vendor on top. So under that place, you write the name of that person that you are owing. The description, whether the person painted your office, or the person repaired your sewing machine, or the person did whatever it is the person did for you, write it in the description. And then you write category. So under the category, you write the category of that expenses, whether it is repairs and maintenance, whether it is salaries, whether it's whatever the category is. You write it. There are various expense categories. I can write it out and then send it to Jadok, so she gives it to you guys in the group. So you just pick whatever category that expense falls under, and then the amount that you are owing the person, the amount that you have paid, and then the amount you are owing the person. So date, name of the vendor, description, the category, amount you are owing, the amount you have paid, and then the balance. Now, another thing, the next thing we want to talk about now is cash. This cash is mainly for those who deal with a lot of cash. Like they make a lot of expenses in cash. People pay them in cash. They buy material. They hardly use them. So it's good for you to have a report that shows how your cash is coming in and how cash is going out of your business. Now, under the cash, you can draw a table that shows the cash report for the month of May 2022. Then you write the date, the description, the category, the cash in, cash out, and balance. Now you write dates, like I said, description, what happened, a detailed description of what's of the transaction, and then cash in, how much in and out. Your balance will be changing. Your balance will be changing. So, like I said before, you should try as much as possible to bank whatever cash that you have to avoid spending your business money. Separate yourself from your business. These are the core things that are determining small business owners from growing. Now, production. How do you keep records of your production? Production, there are two main aspects of production that should be recorded: the cost of production and then the quantities produced. Cost of production and then the quantities produced. Now, if you want to keep record of cost of production, number one, you list out your materials. You write a table. Maybe probably this will work for those that are ready to wear. Probably we've produced a dress. You produce a dress for ready to wear. Now, what are the materials that you used in the production of this dress? You write material. Under material, you write the fabric that was used. You use thread. You use the needle. You use the sewing machine. Okay, let's talk about those that are directly related to the clothes. Dress, you might use interlining, you might use interfacing, you might use button, you might use zip, everything that is directly related to that product. Because there are also indirect expenses like your sewing machine, maybe probably you bought fuel for your generator. All those ones are indirect expenses. But yeah, we're talking about the ones that are directly related to the product. Now, what quantity of each of those materials was used? For materials, did I use 2 yards of fabric? Did I use 3? Did I use 4 yards? And that material can vary. Sometimes you might use depending on the style. Sometimes you might use skin tone net. Sometimes you might use various things. You might use rice stones. You might use different things. So the quantity of these things that was used. Now the costing. How much does those the quantity? How much does it cost you? You write it, and then the total amount of each of those material that was used. So what I mean by quantity and amount, like that fabric, so you might use 2 yards of fabric, and then under the costing, you're going to write the price per product. So for 1 yard, if 1 yard of that fabric is say 3,000 naira, so you know that the total amount for fabric from coats, maybe clinical jumpsuits, whatever, the total amount of each of those products, the quantity that was produced for that month will be recorded, and the cost of production for the total, like you already calculated the amount that it cost you to produce one of it. Now, how many did you produce? You produced 23 of this dress. How much is the total cost for all of those 23? That's your cost times the total amount of goods that was produced. Then you're now going to write your total. So under your production, like when you are recording the amount of goods that was produced, what you need to write is the product, the name of the product, the quantity that was produced, the cost of production, and then the per unit costs. How much did it cost to produce one of it? Now, how about okay, I've talked about production. Now I'm going to move to purchases. Purchases. Now for a fashion business, purchases purchases actually refers to the owner of the business buying things that, how will I put it? I want to try to differentiate it from expenses. Okay. Purchases actually refers to buying what to use in production, what you use to produce. So for fashion business, now what you use to produce is sewing machine, industrial weaving machine, needle. So the things that will help you, not the materials that are directly related. No, that you can see now that there are different things. So when you're talking about expenses, you can be talking about buying fabrics, buying stones, buying this and that. But when you're talking about purchases, you're talking about your sewing machine, you're talking about your stoning machine, you're talking about industrial weaving. You understand what I'm trying to say? So, how do you keep records of your purchases? Now, you keep your supplier's ledger. You keep a detailed purchase transaction. You keep a detailed purchase transaction and you keep a supplier's ledger. How do you keep a detailed under your detailed purchase transaction? It will contain everything purchased on an order by order basis, including any associated purchasing cost. Now, let's take for example that you bought a sewing machine. You went to the island to buy a sewing machine. Aside from the fact that you bought that sewing machine, there are other costs that you incurred in the process of buying that sewing machine. One of it is transportation to where you went to buy the machine. Probably on your way coming, you had people carry the machine for you. Whatever cost that was associated with the buying of that sewing machine would be added together, and as in it will give you that will give you the total costs of that sewing machine. It is not just the amount that you bought the sewing machine that will be the cost of that machine, but every other thing, the transportation, any other thing. Think about it. Some people pay royalties when they buy some businesses pay royalties when they buy machineries like that. So whatever cost, if you pay royalties on your machineries, you add it to your cost. It will be added to your cost. If you imported that machine, any other cost, clearing cost, everything will be added, and that's going to give you the total amount that you bought that machine. Now, I would like to quickly chip it in here that one of the mistakes we make is we don't add the cost of our sewing machines to our cost of production, and it should be added. It should be added. This is how we are going to make profits from our business. How do you add it? In a month, that is why it's good for you to have a good marketing strategy. So you know that in a month you want to have at least a particular amount of goods that you want to sell. Whether you are into ready to wear, okay, in this month you want to sell at least 200 pieces of my product. If I into bespoke, you want to say in this month, every month I want to sew at least I want to have at least 20 customers in this month. Now, if you have this target, they are now going to look at that your sewing machine. Okay, this sewing machine that I bought month, how many years is it going to take me to use this machine for it to be in good condition? Okay, let's say I'm going to, for the next 3 years, if I'm using this machine, it's still going to be in good condition. Now you're not going to divide the total cost of that machine into the amount of months that we have in 3 years. We have about 24, like 36 months in 3 years. You divide it by 36. So that's whatever your answer is will be your cost for 1 month for that machine. So by the time it's after 3 years, it's going to be easy for you to replace that machine. It's going to be easy. So when keeping records of your purchases, you should record every cost that is associated. Sorry. Okay, I will also talk about suppliers ledger. If you are, especially those that are into ready to wear, that have customers that pay, that give them goods. I know some people that are into ready to wear that they already have someone that supplies them this industrial sewing machine. So they might supply them like 200 pieces, they might supply them like 100, supply them like 20 pieces. So let me just say 20 sewing machines. Now they're not going to be paying for that machine, as especially those that do what do they call it? They have a manufacturing plant. Those that manufacture clothes for other people. Okay. The person I knew, that's what she does. So they gave her the machine because it's going to pay back. Do you understand? So as because she knows that she's going to make the money, so she collected those machines. Now when you if you sorry, hello,
You can go on now.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So if you have suppliers that give you goods on credits like this, probably you buy fabrics from them and they supply you fabrics maybe from China or anywhere, and you are allowed to pay that is good for you to also keep a supplier's ledger, just the same way you are going to keep a debtor's ledger. Each supplier's ledgers should be kept separately. Their name on top, the dates, the amounts they are owing, the amount you are owing them at the beginning of that month, the amount that you have paid, and then the balance. And then you also have a summary of everything where you have each name, the supplier's name, the total balance, the opening balance for that month, the total amount of goods you bought from them from that month, the total amount of money that you have paid them from that month, and then the closing balance. So let's talk about my battery is low, and if I try to charge my phone, you guys won't see. So let me quickly move on to inventory. Now,
So
there are
sorry
three things
about
that
that.
happens to inventory. But yeah, I'm so sorry. So I've been trying to charge my phone, but iPhone and their the battery is not strong. So there are three things that are associated to inventory that comes in, inventory that goes out, that reduces, and inventory in store at a particular time. Now, how do we keep now to track these three angles? You must understand what drives them. We know that inventory that comes in is caused by purchases, by buying goods or by producing more goods. Now, what causes inventory to go out or decrease? That is um, sales, right? Sales makes inventory to decrease. So if by returns from customers also increases inventory. Sales decreases inventory. Now, how do you keep proper records of your inventory? There are two key elements to track when you're keeping records of your inventory. You keep record of the quantity and also the value. You keep records of your inventory, of the quantity of each product that you have, and then you keep records of the value. So when you are writing, how do you write it? Like I created a template for a pharmaceutical store to keep records of their inventory, to track their inventory. So it depends on the kind of business, but since this is a fashion business, you want to keep records of the dates.
Okay, I think our network.
Yeah, because I cannot hear us.
I hope it's not a battery that is off totally. I hope we are getting what she's passing across. Are we getting value?
Getting into, but it's deep accounting. Thank God.
It's deep accounting. Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember the course I did in HND2 first semester. That was accounting. The man taught us all about all this stuff, but I didn't even take it here. Me, I just ready to pass. God.
Okay.
Hey.
Oh, okay. TM, thank you so much. She's giving us
Well,
the script.
never kept record of anything before. I think I'll have to start.
Yes, I think that's very important. At least if you join from the beginning, she try to give us reasons why you need to keep records for your business. Investment policies, even to make
And it's
decisions.
actually, I think the reason why I did not, because I really don't have much customers. Just probably once in a while,
But
I
I
cook for
think,
myself, my sister, my mom. That's why I'm like, why am I keeping record for all of this?
but notwithstanding, I think from the knowledge we're getting tonight, no matter how little one can start, even if it's to get those books, get exercise books, have one for sales, have one for expenses, and all of that. And of course, if one is getting suppliers, have a ledger for them. Just having separate books, I think it helps. And it's something we'll be putting into practice too. Mercy Grace, are you still there? Mercy Grace. Okay, so do you have questions before she gets back? Hopefully she gets to join us again. I know the truth of the matter is it might not be easy, having to keep those books, it won't be easy. So let's even start out with that. Because I can't imagine. Miss Nemi, please share a word or two. I know you're there.
Hi,
And I know
ma.
you're good with your book. So let's ask. How has it been? Has it been an easy task?
Well, when I started, it wasn't easy at all. And
Okay.
one thing I've learned is I cannot do everything alone. So what I try to do is I have a record of, things that comes in, things that go out. So at the end of the month, I get an account. I have accountant, a part accountant that comes to check the books to put them in proper shape. You get, because sometimes this mathematics it could be taxing at times, and with what the workload and everything, I don't have the time to, and with the little knowledge I have, I rather just bring someone in. But on your own part, you need to keep proper record, like she said. You need to keep your inventories, your whatever is coming in, whatever. Everything needs to be recorded for proper bookkeeping. If not, you just give your accountant headache, like she said. Right. Yes. So even at your end, every little cost that the business procures, every little thing that comes in, make a proper record of it before anything else.
Wow, fantastic.
You're able to track.
I don't know if any other person has a question, because I'm wondering, like, putting those things to writing, is it something you do like almost immediately or at the end of the day? I'm sure somebody is probably wondering, okay, I have a clothes to sew, I have this to deliver, and I just bought material. Can I have that time to start writing and say, okay, I bought this number of yards of fabric? Is it something one can still do at the end of the day, or is it advisable to write it down immediately? What's your take on that?
Well, I feel for me, I'll just tell you what I do.
Okay.
One of the things I have is on my pad is like a file where I put down all that is already prepared. Right. So I just go there,
Exactly.
fill it in. I don't have to do the breakdown immediately. For instance,
what sort of file?
No, it's
Is
just
it an Excel
it's a
page?
notepad that I just put into not. I don't even use Excel, so that it's not so complex, right? So I just use a notepad where I already have all the description. I have something like description in, out, like that. So once I go to, probably I take 10,000 to the market now, for instance.
Okay.
Right. I do all my shopping. I come back, I know exactly what I bought. But then if I exhaust the 10,000, I know that 10,000 went out.
Okay.
So I put that down first. Then later, I can now come back and do the breakdown of how it went. Not necessarily putting, I bought trade 15 naira, I bought zip 100 naira. No.
Okay.
Yes, that could come in later, because that other one could be really taxing to, you have things to do, you're in a hurry, you can't sit down and start putting zip 10 naira, this one 5 naira, So I just, okay, this is how much I spent today, and this is what went out. So I just put that down first. Then breakdown could come in any other time when I'm all settled.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Ma. Do we have questions? I want to believe probably our phone is off completely.
Yeah, I have a question. I don't know if I can ask Madam Nemi if she'll be able
Please
to answer.
do. I'm sure she can help out.
Okay. So I once joined like it was all about pricing, but I was not opportune to like watch the video of that stuff. But one thing I got from it was that for everything we use in our shop, probably from your machine to your rent to your electricity bills, that we should all incur it. Like every of our clients must pay out of it. Please, how is that possible? Because I really did not get the breakdown that day because I had network problems. So I'll be looking for somebody that has experience to tell me how to do that. Because she was like, if you don't do that, there's no how you just be paying all of those things from your own pocket and not from the business pocket. So each client have to pay. So how do you have any idea of how that is done? Hello.
Miss Jockey, are you answering our shoe?
No, please go ahead.
All right. So I wasn't in that particular section, but I'll tell you what I do. First of all, you want to make, before you, in fact, this should be like the beginning when you start your business. You pay rent, you buy machines, you buy everything, put the cost together as a whole. So you will know exactly how much you have used to set up that business. Like she said, a portion has to go to each client, because at the end of the day, you might think you are making money. Probably 15K comes in, you go down everything. When the rent comes again, where do you pay it from? Right? So you have to keep a record of machine, this, that, sum it all. Then when you are charging, do a breakdown of the things you used to make that dress. Your rent is going into play. So what I personally do is I have a list of everything that requires startup. All what I used, the rents, machines, even down to servicing of machines, because you have to service your machines too. What we pay for it, right? So I do all that. If I get a cost, then I divide it into months. At the end of this month, I need to get this cost out of whatever my clients are paying, right? So with your records, you have an average number of clients you service each month. It might be more, it might be less, but get an average number of clients, divide it into that average, and for each person, they have the portion they would pay for all that requires, your working tools and everything that requires you to produce the outfit.
All
Please,
right, thank
can
you so
you?
much.
Sorry. Please, I got confused where you said. I got confused from the part where you said you add everything together and divide it by how many months?
All right. What I just said is this.
Okay.
Say I got my sewing machine 180. Let's be very practical now. I got a sewing machine 180, a whipping machine 150. Then maybe I would had my maybe generator cost. If where I practice there is no constant electricity, I have to use a gen. I put that along with the cost. I sum it up. Right now, in a year, I need to get at least everything that I've used, right? That is, if for instance, now let me bring this up. Now, for instance, the sewing machine, right? I have a period of say 3 years or 4 years, or a standard machine 5 years operational, right? So if I share that into 5 years, right, I know how much I should get from each year. But now I'm talking about those things that we can put into the yearly cost now, just a rough figure. Do you understand? So now I will service the same machine after I've spread it into 5 years of its working, right, to get back the cost. Now I will service it during that year. I would buy the working tools for that client, right? I'll put in my rent for that year also, whatever it has cost me. I divide everything into 12 months. Once I get the sum, now I distribute them monthly. I have an average number of clients I service monthly if I'm into bespoke. If it's ready to wear, you use the same average. Whatever you do on an average, you use it also. Divide the cost you have gotten now by 12 the month, right? Then the average number of clients you service, get the figure. Then that is how much you're adding per client so that you are not at loss at the end of the day. Hope you understand what I'm trying to say, Miss Damilola.
Yes, I get it. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Ma. Very apt. So I don't know, Bisola, do you have a question? Okay, it seems she's on here. Please, I have a question actually, and I don't know. Are you here, Bisola?
Yes, I am.
Okay, good. All right, so it's good to
Can you
keep
hear me?
record.
Okay.
All right, so I can hear you. I said you have a question.
Okay. I don't know how to do on side.
Before we call it a evening or an evening. Bisola, you don't have a question? Okay, so quickly, let me just ask. I know Miss Nemi is here to help us out with some of our questions tonight, and it's such a great pleasure to have you. So I want to ask, and I know a number of people too might be wondering. So you're keeping records, you are just the only one in your business, so it's more like a one-man business, all right? And you are trying hard not to sort of spend. So I'm coming from the angle of spending like your business money as your personal money now. I know she mentioned having to like make deposits of maybe money that coming into your business like maybe a day before, so to speak, the next morning. All right, so as not to spend and maybe just avoid stories that touch. Okay, so one is how do you, I know that might take a bit of discipline because I'm wondering if I might have to get to the bank, or even if it is POS and all of that. Okay, maybe that makes that easier. But I'm just wondering, are there other ways to go in about not spending your business money? One, that's if you are getting cash or not, maybe a direct transfer into the business account. Or I know even if you don't really have a business account, so to say, you can just get an account and you just know that's just your business money going into that. So my question is this: how do you go about that? You don't get to spend your business money, and what sort of percentage would you say it's okay to pay yourself as a salary, like from your profits and all of that? I know maybe it depends on people, and it should even be for both. If you are doing a bespoke or you are doing ready to wear, there should be your profits aside, okay, the cost of production, the fixed cost, then the variable costs that vary with maybe the type of fabrics, yards, and all of that. So Miss Nemi, how do you think one can go about paying oneself a salary? Like what certain percentage would you say it's fair enough to get paid?
Yeah, first off, I would like to address the depositing, don't touch the money the next day deposit. I know for some it might not be easy for them to do that because I'm sure you know how busy our schedule could be. You are running to work to fix one thing up or the other. You might not get someone to help you go deposit, so you might run into some headache while trying to do that. So if you get cash, what I will suggest is, you have running for me, for example, I have running cost for each week, right? We need to get this, we need to get that for the week. So if I have cash at hand, I will not withdraw that week. I know that, okay, this will go into my running cost. And if I still have surplus cash, it will go into the next, so it's whatever cash is at hand is for my running cost, so that I don't have to, run to the bank or, do all that stress. Can you hear me?
Please go on. Yes.
All right. So I feel for me that works rather than going to the bank. Or if I have to use the money to do something else, I have to keep the record of this is what this thing did for the business, not my personal money now. Not, I needed to buy pepper and tomato, then I did that. If I have to do that, right, I need to transfer it back into the business. Yes, there are times that you borrow from your business. You need to get something and you have cash at hand. You are going home, you want to quickly buy something. You have cash at hand from your business, right? You can quickly get that, but always make sure it takes discipline anyway. Always make sure that you return it back to the business. Nobody's going to police you. It's your business, right? But always make sure that you give a proper record, borrowed, and return. You borrowed this and you are going to return it, transfer immediately to balance up. Then for the second question, how much do you pay yourself as a business owner? I will say it depends on how much your business has grown. For my first 2-3 years in business, I did not pay myself. I had other source of income. If you don't have any other source of income, it will be wise for you to pay yourself something so that you don't lose track of what you are spending. But then for your business to grow, you might have to return. Then when it gets to a stage, you can now think about, okay, paying yourself, at that point. Not at the beginning of the business, you're already eating more than 50% of your business because you want to pay yourself, right? How do you grow the business? Once your business has grown to a level, you have to determine the percentage. First of all, what percentage are your workers getting? You are looking at what they are producing, then how much are they getting for what they are producing? How much are they bringing in for you to know how much you are giving out for your workers? Then you can now do the same for yourself. So there's no, I wouldn't say I would give a certain percentage you want to pay yourself, right? But you have to know exactly what is coming in, right? To be able to say, okay, if I give myself this percentage, my business is still sustainable. And if I pay my workers and do all that, it's still sustainable. Not you paying yourself, paying your workers, paying everything, and there is nothing to run the business.
Hello, ma.
Yes, ma.
Sorry, I actually lost you along the way. I don't know if it was just my hand. I had a call coming. Okay. Please, could you please recap?
Okay. At what point did you? So I don't go over everything again.
Yes, where you said for your business, what you do is you don't have to. I got what you said. You necessarily don't have to go to the bank when you were addressing the issue of having
Oh,
cash
okay.
out. Then I got you to
Oh,
the point where you're talking about if you borrow from your money to just sort out a personal thing, you pay back.
yes. All right. So I think that was the concluding part of the first question: how to deal with cash. If you have to you either use the cash for your running cost for the week or for the month or whatnot. Then if you have any personal business that you need to take care of with cash at the moment, you can borrow from that, then always pay back. Then the second issue I was addressing is the issue of paying yourself in the business. I said I wouldn't want to assign a certain percentage when it comes to
Sorry, please,
paying
before
yourself.
you go on. Sorry. Before you
Yes.
go on, so let's say for instance it's bespoke, or even if it is ready to wear, and you've gotten your cost of production and all of that, what would you say it's fair enough for? Okay, I don't know why I'm using the word fair enough, but what is the standard like? Your profit margin, because I feel like maybe that's what's going to influence a bit how much you get paid as salary. Imagine somebody who is getting a profit of like let's say your profit is like 3K, 5K. How much do you think is okay as a standard, like a percentage to actually pay yourself so that you don't get to spend your business money? I think that's the end why I'm asking this question.
All right. So I'll go from this point, right? I'll say, for instance, say you charge 10K and maybe everything you spent was maybe say 5K or 4K and you have 6K left. Now, say you have 2 workers working for you. I'm sure when it comes to workers, you would have broken down their cost of how they work and how much they earn per dress, or however you choose to break down their salary. You would have done that. So for each dress you make, you know how much your worker is getting. So for instance, let's say you have 2 workers, right?
Okay.
And you have to pay one of them out of that dress, the cost of the dress. And let's say, okay, you pay the worker 1K, for instance. Now you have how much left? 5K left. Now, this is my personal opinion, right? I would return at least, after doing all my overall cost, like we said previously, I will return at least 3,000 naira back to my business. So I can get 2, my worker gets 1, then 3 goes back to my business. It depends on individuals. I like fast growth, right? And if the inflow is not so much, the growth might not be fast, right? So I rather pay my business more when it comes to returning funds to the business than I pay myself, because I know at some point the business will pay me more than I even work for. Right? But at the growth stage, I rather collect less than I'm returning into the business, if you get what I'm trying to say. Ms. Joke.
All right. So I hope we got value from those answers. Thank you so much, everyone. I really don't know if you. Okay, that means I guess all your questions have been answered. CM, do you have any other question? Do you have questions before we call it a night?
The lady that is using us bookkeeping, she's not coming back.
I'm not too sure. She complained of
low
a low
battery.
battery the other time. So I want to believe we'll probably get her to. Okay, we'll probably get her to maybe give us a concluding aspect. We might need to do that behind the camera. Maybe we'll just get her sorted out and then we'll share the replay to the group. And I think all our previous, thank you, CM, all our previous webinars are on our YouTube channel. So please, we can actually refer back to them. Dami, the issue about pricing that you asked, I know she has done justice to it. There are other valuable resources too on our YouTube channel. So you can do how to check, subscribe, like, comment, watch. This other one too we are having currently is going to be uploaded on the YouTube channel and a number of others too. So please, thank you so very much everyone for joining. CM, do you have any concluding remarks before we call this a night? CM, are you there? Okay, thank you, Miss Nami, for joining. Thank you, Miss Dami. Thank you, CM. And of course, a great thank you to our guest speaker for tonight. I know we've gotten value already. We'll conclude that aspect. If you have any other questions for our guest speaker, you can kindly drop them on the group. I'm sure we'll get them answered. And if you don't mind, if you want us to do like a part 2 and you'd like to join, maybe we should just make it a public webinar, like a live webinar. Maybe we'll just make another rescheduling of the part 2. All right. So please, if you like us to have it open to the whole house, please just let us know in the group. Then we'll schedule another and then get the time and date across to us. Thank you so much, everyone. Do have a great evening, and of course, wish you the best in your businesses. And we'll pray by God's grace we go higher and higher. Thank you so much. Have a great evening. Bye bye, everyone.